Doyin Okupe haven't visited the president and received a presidential handshake. Presidential handshake could be very scarce. I've never received presidential handshake in my life. So the thing is, when you receive presidential handshake, and I think we need to do this research.
It shakes off your brain.
Yeah, it shakes off your brain a little bit. But then I don't know, maybe when you now receive a pretty lady's handshake. I don't have made a statement.
No.
I'm sure you want to hear what I want to say, my people. You want to hear what I want to say.
Director, cut, please. Welcome to Precious in Your TV. So very quickly, let's jump on this Doyin Okupe's interview with Channel Television's Seun Okimaloye. So Seun had an interview with In Politics Today with Doyin Okupe on Monday evening, where he did say that where Doyin Okupe said that as a person that he feels very offended, especially as a Yoruba man, by the interview or podcast that P2B had, where P2B said that if you say Emiloko, for instance, and it is the turn of Yoruba people, that as a Yoruba man now that is in Ogun State, can you tell me where you buy bread cheaper? Because I'll go and buy it. You know, that he feels offended because a lot of people, he mentioned Olusegun Obasanjo supported P2B irrespective of the fact that he's a Yoruba elder statesman. He Doyin Okupe supported P2B irrespective of the fact that he's a Yoruba statesman. So for P2B to make that statement about Yoruba people that he feels very offended, how can he make that kind of statement that is sensitive to the Yoruba people who supported him? What does he mean by that? Please, Dr. Deji, Yoruba man, true and true. Bread and buttered and grounded in Atarodo Yoruba. So please, do you feel offended by that statement, or do you find that statement by P2B offensive, that if you say any local, tell me where you buy bread cheaper than others so that I'll go and buy? Does that offend you as a person? I'd like to know. Or do you think that is an inciting statement that should offend anyone?
If you're opportune to watch this video, make sure you watch it to the end. That's the first thing. Now, the second thing is, you see, for Doyin Okupe, his perspective is very, very surprising. And that is why, as a Nigerian, you know, I pity my fellow Nigerians more than I even pity myself, because I've come of age to be able to think rationally and take rational decisions by virtue of education, exposure, and so many other things. But what I've seen is that politicians, you see, you think that when you fight for politicians, you think they like you. But the deception, the manipulation of politicians is something you should always look out for, because just a little around this time last year, Doyin Okupe was going all out for Peter Obi. He was crusading across the country before the election for Peter Obi, and you want to ask yourself that if Peter Obi had won that election, that is where I pity Nigerians that don't have that intellectual sagacity to be able to distinguish between when they are being manipulated and to be able to kind of like take rational decisions, because politicians like to be manipulated. You want to ask yourself that if Peter Obi, by a stroke of luck or by reality, had been declared the winner of that election, Doyin Okupe will be parading himself as one of the strong people of that administration. Perhaps he will be the Gbajabiamila or the George Akume,
who knows?
You know, the secretary to the government of the federation or chief of staff in the government of Peter Obi.
Remember what drove him away from Labour Party was corruption. They said he used money anyhow.
I'm still coming there. He said that if Doyin Okupe had risen in ranks with Peter Obi, if Peter Obi is the president of Nigeria today, he wouldn't have made that statement. Now, let us look at what Peter Obi said and the reality of it. And thank God for his mercy that the person right before you is a Yoruba man. And as I used to say, when I want to say something, particularly as it pertains to government, I usually say that I'm a Yoruba man, because people usually say, when you criticize the government, they say, oh, he's Omo Igbo, he's Omo Calabar, he's Omo Hausa, this, that. Although I suffer some persecution from my fellow Yoruba men,
really?
Truth, of course, if I post on my social media, you know, the way someone, like, I made an assertion about all these military something, and the Yoruba people were supporting the nepotistic tendencies of the president, which itself has implication. But that's another talk for another day. Now, I am a Yoruba man. My whole family, paternal, maternal, are Yoruba people, and I know the level of groaning, the level of hardship that is going on among people that I know. I speak to Yoruba people. I try to kind of like do a bit of brief survey from them, and I hear what they say. So what Peter Obi said, that about the
price of bread, for instance.
The price of bread, is it not the reality? Is it not the reality? I am a Yoruba man. Do they give me concession for bread? If I walk into a bakery now, and I go there and I'm speaking special concession, and I pick a bread of 2,000 naira and I say, take, this is 500 naira. I am a Yoruba man. My brother is the president of the Federal Republic. We now not land the station. We don't not even detain me. Is that not, is that not OBT or obtaining by pretense, or how the police call it? So the truth is, Peter Obi, in the true aspect of it, has said the reality, and Yoruba themselves are even groaning. They are groaning. I don't know whether you are immune from billing, but there are a lot of billinders everywhere. I call them billinders, whereby they bill you at every available opportunity. There are some calls that if it comes in for you, you already know, as if you are a prophet, you already know that this is billing. So
are you saying that what Peter Obi said is not enough to offend an ordinary Yoruba man?
No, it is not.
Including those who voted for him.
Excuse me, I am a Yoruba man. Am I offended? Has he not said the truth? I was driving to a
studio. Do you think that Doyin Okupe was trying to incite Yoruba?
He was trying to play ethnic politics, which is largely based on the elite political patronage. He's trying to, you see, I hate this thing, whereby you are trying to use political patronage and you are now selling your entire race. You are now making it ethnic, whereas you are doing those things to furtherance or to strengthen your relationship with the beneficiary of your political statement. And I'll give you an example. I'll give you 3 examples.
Let's start with 1.
No, I will give you 3. This is YouTube, please. My people are enjoying me. Don't stop me when my people are enjoying me. I'll give you 3. Number 1, the statement of Olusegun Osunba, when he made the assertion that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is a Yoruba project. Excuse me, sir. What are you saying?
Is it not a Yoruba project?
Do you take Ukwale with? How would you say that it is a Yoruba project?
Dr. Deji, why all the way to my Niger Delta to find weed? Ukwale in Delta State.
No.
Instead of you to go to the nearby Ogun farms.
No, it's just.
Why are you like this now?
No,
I just wanted to correct you.
No, it's just a slang.
You have some ginger weed farms around Ota.
So that when you see people misbehaving, you say, you smoke Igbo food.
I know.
You hire Ukwale.
That was just on a lighter note. And
wait, are you from Ukwale? Because the way you behave to me at times.
I have an Ukwale sister around me, sir.
No, maybe I have a solution to some of the things you do to me. Are you from Ukwale?
I think so.
You are from Ukwale?
Yes,
okay. That's why on there she used to cut me anyhow. And you see now, she will soon stop this conversation very soon.
So did you say 3 examples? Have you given one?
Now, Oshoba.
The
second one is Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself.
So remind them what Oshoba said, so that people.
Oshoba said that the presidency of Tinubu, the second term, is a must achieve. That it is a Yoruba project. Excuse me, sir, it is not a Yoruba project. You are saying it just to further your political patronage. That elitist approach with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, not because there's anything majorly in it for Yoruba people. Go to Daura. Buhari spent 8 years. He was nepotistic. Go to Daura, you see poverty everywhere. In fact, go to Otuoke. In Bayelsa State, you see poverty everywhere. In the Niger Delta, there's still pollution. Their son was president for 5 years. So, Bola Ahmed Tinubu being the president, who in presidency here? How has he helped me as a Yoruba man? If you are a Yoruba person, we need to move beyond all this Yoruba ethnic something. Is just a way of cajoling the people. For instance, you will be in government, you wouldn't have performed as expected. They will bring a young guy, a fresh blood that has opportunity to beat you in the election. Then you bring up Igbo must go. Is Igbo your problem? Igbos are doing their
Like you
legitimate
did to Road
business.
Fiber.
Yes,
Road
to
Fiber.
Rose Fiber. Then you bring up that ethnic sentiment because you know that when you bring it up, people will be like, oh, no, we won't vote for Moibo and all that. All these things are just lame argument. The second instance is that of Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself, whereby when Buhari was president and the herdsmen were trying to make incursions into Yoruba land, and the people of, I think, Ibarapa or something, in Oyo State, that border community were crying that their wives were being raped, that things were not going well for them, and herdsmen are eating their crops. What did Tinubu say? He said, where are the cows? Right? He said that so that he won't lose the political patronage of the North. The third example is that of Yemi Osinbajo himself. When all these things were happening, just so that he can receive the political blessing of Buhari, he decided not to speak up. So political patronage, there's a way, and that is why education is quite important. You don't necessarily need to have a PhD or to be a professor, but some basic education to strengthen your rational thinking, in the sense that you now realize when they come with all these lame arguments, you know that it is just to further their interest. Because Doyin Okupe, suddenly the man you campaigned against, which means that you naturally don't want him in power, the man you crusade against across the length and breadth of Nigeria, all of a sudden is now the apple in your eyes.
So do you think,
so you can imagine that?
Having said that, what does that tell of the character of the Doyin Okupe? If the man that Doyin Okupe campaigned against, just like you said now, that is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is someone that he can now support and, just like you said, become apple of his eyes and all that, what does that tell of the character of Doyin Okupe? Does it mean anything?
First, before I talk about the character of Doyin Okupe, he just talks about power itself. Power, like success, is magnetic. Like power and human beings is like when you pick magnet and iron and you move them close to each other, at some point the magnet will grab the iron. That is how power magnetizes human beings. You understand that? In such a way that if Peter Obi had a match president, you will even see some people that campaign with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that are loyal to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they will be saying that in favor of Peter Obi now, if Peter Obi had happened to be the president. So it is natural in the nature of man. Only few people can rise above that human limitation in such a way that they will see that power, they can be able to wait and hold on strongly. So Doyin Okupe have revealed one of the weakness of human being, which is they can't be able to resist power or stay away from power. Now, to the person of Doyin Okupe, it only shows that he is largely about power and selfish interest, because in the true sense of it, let us look at it. Maybe tomorrow Bola Ahmed Tinubu may perform, maybe, just maybe, but now, in the true sense of it, he hasn't performed.
The reason I'm saying this is because...
And I'm saying it emphatically because you as a government is meant to create convenience for the people. But what convenience have you created? And if what we are seeing now is anything to go by, it shows that at the end of the day, when the convenience will come, Nigerians may not even benefit from it. In the sense that when there is the little money that is available, the political class have been using it to buy jeep in the for the legislator. They've used it to buy Escalade. They've used it to buy jets. And some are even suggesting that they should buy jet for Shetima. And let us even go further. Why I said for now Tinubu has not performed is that the Minister of Finance, Wale Edo, made an announcement that the government has spent about 650 billion naira.
I see the fine who don't collect.
That means that
25 million households.
Oh, you collect?
Are they fined?
Because
see, let me know.
I particularly made a video and posted it on my social media that please, I want to know, because the implication of it is, let us do some little arithmetic here. Nigeria is about 200 million. Am I correct? Do you agree? Okay. Now, if 25,000 people if 25,000 naira had been given to 25 million people, according to the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, who, if we look at the way the economy is, that means he has been coordinating nonsense. Because if the reality of the economy today is anything to go by, he has been minister of coordinating nonsensical economy, because that is what the economy that people cannot feed, economy that people cannot float, that people cannot shelter themselves. What kind of economy is that? Now, that is an aside. If 25 million people have received 25,000 naira, what that means is that 1 in every 8 Nigerian, because if you put 25 million in 8 places, you have 200 million. 25 million in 4 places is 100 million. If you bring in another 4, that is 200 million. What that means is that we here now, I think we have about 5 people. If we bring 3 more people, that means that 1 out of us must have collected that money. But you see that at the end of the day, there's nobody that dropped a comment. And if you are watching this video, please do me a favor, drop a comment if you know somebody that have collected that money. Because what made me to ask is that I thought maybe I may be unlucky, because I've never seen, I just used to hear money, trader money, farmer money, this money, that money. I've never collected, and I've never seen anybody that collected. And you are saying that, you haven't collected. So it means that it's not even about beauty anymore anyway, because before in Nigeria, once you are beautiful, they say they cannot share something and you won't collect. So as fine as Precious is,
this is waking up face. They will not know that.
As fine as Precious is, she don't even see money to collect. So that means say no hope for me. It is finished, because before they give me, they will first give Precious as a pretty lady.
So
now the thing is that no Nigerian have collected that money. I've not seen anybody that collected. So you want to ask yourself that what is really there at the end of the day. So relating it back to when the SOCON will come, because I said the president is not performing. He said he will need time to reform. At the end of the day, when the manifestation of reform will come, what you will see is politicians using money to buy house in New York, in Dubai, in London, and all that. So we need to be sincere with ourselves. For somebody like Doyin Okupe, he has seen the handwriting on the wall, like as it was enshrined in the scripture, Daniel 5:25. Mene peke opasin. The handwriting on the wall is perhaps clear to Doyin Okupe that perhaps Bola Ahmed Tinubu will muzzle himself, will impose himself on Nigeria, because we can only have a president like Jonathan once in 1,000 years, and Jonathan has come and gone now. So till the next 1,000 years, we may not have another president like Jonathan that will lose the election and will just go away. With the kind of power that the president of Nigeria has. So maybe Doyin Okupe have seen the handwriting on the wall that there is no much food on the table and he cannot wait for 8 years. So maybe if Bola Ahmed Tinubu will finish his tenure, if he use it, that will be 2031. And Doyin Okupe have seen that this one cannot, he cannot wait till he decide to quickly align. It's not only Doyin Okupe. Instances about the Daniel Buanas of this world who campaign on the part of
Atiku Abubakar.
Yes, the Atiku Abubakar, and suddenly, almost immediately, Doyin Okupe still even try. They still wait for like a year and a half. Daniel Buana almost jumped ship immediately. The examples about the Reno Omokri, who had been a traditional PDP guy, who was in the Atiku camp and was appointed by Goodluck Jonathan. It was Goodluck Jonathan that made Reno Omokri a superstar. Even this Doyin Okupe, he served under
as a media aide.
Yes, as a media aide to Jonathan. So I think Doyin Okupe couldn't wait. And goodness me, I watched that particular interview. I watched it live, and you can see that it's not easy. You see, when you want to sell a bad market, it's not always easy. And you can only sell a bad market if you don't have conscience. Because in fairness to Shehu, he was asking some critical questions in that particular interview, but Doyin Okupe was struggling to kind of answer those questions. But where I got infuriated, where I got very angered, is when he said that, when he tried to wrap Bola Ahmed Tinubu and kind of hang it on the neck of every Yoruba person, that how Yorubanized or how truly a Yoruba person you are is not based on how Bola Ahmed Tinubu perform. And these are people, if Kamala Harris wins the election in US, they will be happy, right? They will celebrate. I'm coming, man. They will be happy. They will celebrate. When Obama became the president of US, they are all dancing and jollificating. But then, here in Nigeria, just Nigeria here, you are imposing Bola Ahmed Tinubu on every Yoruba person. God forbid a situation whereby the only criteria with my level of exposure, enlightenment, and education, that the only criteria that will make me vote somebody in this world that I am, even in the next world that I will come, because I know I'll still come back again to this world. You understand? You know. Now you will see that if the only criteria is that person is from your ethnic group, then that means it is a disgrace, because go to see, it's not only Igbo or Hausa people, Yoruba people are suffering, and the disappointment of Yorubas is even more alarming, because people believe that okay, things can be bad, but not that it will be worst. You know, this right now it is even most worst, if I can use that, you know, that English. And you now expect that when you promise people renewed hope and you give hopelessness, right? When you say that when you promise renewed hope and you decide to give them T-pain, which means Tinubu's pain, and the Doyin Okupe was trying to say it is temporary pain. Oga, no, it is T-pain means Tinubu's pain.
Okay, so let's,
which is another word for hardship,
okay,
which is another word for hunger, which is another word for poverty, which is another word for starvation, which is another word for hopelessness. Please, let me continue. I want to use like 20 now. You've caught me now.
So it's T-pain the botanical name of all this. But moving on, Dr. Deji.
Why T-pain? They sound sweet for your mouth, precious.
So, Dr. Deji, what Doyin Okupe said about Tinubu, I've almost forgot my line of thought now. Okay, what Doyin Okupe said about Tinubu, does that in any way show that he's a bit unstable in terms of political affiliation?
Oh, well,
there has been accusations in the past. I think Shawari has called him out like twice or three times about his instability, about how he betrayed them while they were all forming to be fighting for democracy in Nigeria, and he betrayed them and started working for the military somehow. So do you think that tells to the, in fact, he even said it to his front once on an interview. So do you think that this really, that perhaps that accusation by Shawari is exactly who Doyin Okupe is?
Yes, more of maybe than maybe not, in the sense that Doyin Okupe has presented his, see, what I think, I can give Chief Doyin Okupe a free political consultancy, just free, in the sense that if you campaign vigorously against somebody just about a year and a half ago, and that person, you know, according to INEC and the judiciary, won the election, and that person is there, because you are in the extreme end of the opposition, you are at the forefront of leading campaign against such a person. Even if you now decide to align, you are to do it softly. He is doing it like he has been a Tinubu fanatic all his life. If you watch that interview, people that have been Tinubu fanatic, people that Tinubu made them, I don't think they can kind of like do better. People like Bajabi Amila, Bayo Nonuga, and some other guys, Sunday Dare, I don't think they can do better than Doyin Okupe in that particular. And what Doyin Okupe should have done is to come from the advisory perspective. Like, you know, he should be able to strike a balance. It won't appear as if, you know, he's now on the extreme, to the extent of you now castigating Peter Obi, the man you preach that is the best thing for Nigeria. So the thing is,
but he said that he wasn't going to insult Peter Obi.
What suddenly changed? No, see, he castigated Peter Obi in that interview because Peter Obi said that, okay, he says a melocon, right? But then the Yoruba people are even suffering more in his government, and that is the reality. So what I think Doyin Okupe should have done is to come on the soft note, which is more of advisory, or to come on, from the persuasive note, to kind of like persuade Nigerians that, okay, I think this is what the president is doing, and this is what it can bring at the end of the day, to come up with hard statistics that, okay, based on removal of subsidy, government have been able to save this amount, and if government is able to use this amount, it can provide so hospital, infrastructure. Now I am advising the president to make sure that he kind of like use the funds that is being generated to kind of like make sure that these things happen, so that he can be able to secure a second term. That interview would have made more sense to me listening to Doyin Okupe, who happens to be at the forefront of opposition. But then there's a problem in Nigeria, which is that you must come from the extreme side, in the sense that they don't believe that you can speak logically. You are either for me or against me. So Doyin Okupe having visited the president and received a presidential handshake. Presidential handshake could be very scarce. I've never received presidential handshake in my life. So the thing is, when you receive presidential handshake, and I think we need to do this research.
It shakes off your brain a bit.
Yeah, it shakes off your brain a little bit. But then I don't know, maybe when you now receive a pretty lady's handshake. I don't know the effect. So let me receive your handshake.
Dr. Deji. Dr. Deji.
Next week, when we are going to bring you another episode on Precious Any TV, I will tell you the effect of shaking a pretty lady. So watch out for that. You don't want to miss
Dr. Deji, just
the
keep
next
watching
episode.
me. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Dr. Deji. It's always fun to have you in the studio. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, one can't do a quite quick one with you. Yeah.
Should I respond to that?
No.
No, you have made a statement. I'm sure you want to hear what I want to say, my people. You want to hear what I want to say.
Director, cut, please. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being a part of the show. Drop your comments under, subscribe, and like.